Righto, so we start with taking these 6 screws out of the side panel. Once they're all out, you can take that cover off, and that will expose these 2 screws which hold the front on. That was a bit tricky of them to hide it, wasn't it? So let's take those 2 out. Now don't confuse the screws either, because the ones from this front panel have a tapered flathead. The ones from the side panel are domed. So make sure you don't mix them up. Okay, once those 2 screws are out, flip the mount over and you'll find the other 3 screws this side. Okay, those 3 are out, and this front cover just comes off. Set it aside and you can get access to your board just in here. And with the cover off, you can see all the connectors. There's 5 there. So all you've got to do is unplug each of those. Now if you get a bit paranoid about what plugs go where and where they came from and where they're going to go on the new board, you can either number them with a black texture or something, or just use color coded textures, and I'll do something to show you what I mean. So here you can see I've color marked each plug, and I've colour marked the sockets on the new board. Now also notice they're not in the same order. You'll just have to count the amount of pins inside each one and match it to the amount of wires on each one. Now with your fingernails or long nose pliers, or maybe a little flat screwdriver, just help yourself by getting these little connectors out. So once you get those locking screws there, locking bolts there, you can lift this whole motor out, and that'll give you access in there to the screws. Then just do the same for the other motor. Just lift it out and that'll give you access to the other screw. Now just a point to make, when you're undoing the motors with these little bolts, there is a tiny washer, there's a little spring washer and a very small flat washer, and make sure they come out too. I've just dropped one of those little flat washers down in there, but I know where it is. It's sitting on top of the board, so we can just tip the mount over and get it out. So just be careful that they are easy to lose inside. And just undo those 2 screws holding the board in, and then just pull that board out. Once you've got the screws undone, take the screws out and put them in the new board. Okay, now we can put in the new board, but before you push it all the way in and screw it down, we'll connect all these connectors first, because they're very hard to get to once they're in there. And that way when you do push it in and screw it down, you'll only have the 2 motors to connect. So let's do that. Okay, so we've got those plugged in. Now just a point to notice, if you have trouble getting these plugs into the new board, just turn them around backwards, because these sockets are reversed compared to the old board. There's on this old board, like you can see, there's a gap in the back for the guides. On this one, the gap's in the front. Even though they didn't put a whole gap in it, the little guide slots are actually this side. So just turn them all around and plug them in. Now we can put that new board in and screw it down. So with the new board in, now just replace the motors. And once you've screwed in the motors with the 3 corner bolts, just check that you haven't done this up too tight, that can spin freely, and you can feel a microscopic amount of play in this gear. Gears must have a tiny little bit of play. Okay, and if you've got that, you've got it right. It's only the tiniest movement, like half a hair thickness, but you can feel it. And that's it. Then put all your covers back on and job's done.